so you got soap in your eye? And I said, no, I have raw soap batter because I'm actually making the soap. Hey guys, I am back with another video, and today's video I thought I would take it easy and do another vlog type of video where you follow me around and see what a typical day is like for someone who runs a soap business out of their home. And there's going to be a lot going on in this video. I have a few packages that I got that I want to show you guys, things that I've bought. We also have soap that needs cutting. Today is Monday, so it's going to be an inventory day today, and depending on how long this video ends up being, maybe fit in other things that I'm going to be making today. I have on my schedule some shampoo bars that I want to make. I also got raw soap batter in my eye, so that whole story about how that happened and what I did after it happened, that whole story I'm also going to go into in this video. So if that's something that you're interested in watching, then keep doing that. We have little Gibson here, who's not so little anymore. He's growing so fast, and he's also chewing on my computer chair leg. Don't do that. No. But he is growing like a bean. You're growing too fast. Look at this giant package that I want to unbox for you guys. This is something that I've wanted to order for some time, and I'm really glad I finally took the plunge and ordered it. So stay tuned so I can show you guys what's inside this giant box. And today is Monday as well, so it's also inventory day. I want to really thank today's sponsor, Crafty Base, because it's their software that is causing me to actually take my inventory seriously, and I've been logging it every Monday. And it's through their software that I've been able to keep really detailed and accurate notes of our current inventory, not just of our products that we hold, but also our materials and ingredients that we have and all of our supplies. I'm able to do that all through Crafty Base, which is so cool. I'm really excited about the potential of the software because I've only just started playing around with it, and there's so many features. I'm really glad that something like this exists because everyone has suggested to me SoapMaker 3. I work with Mac, I work with Apple products, so I wasn't able to use that, but Crafty Base, I'm able to do that on my Mac, so that is awesome. The first thing that I've dove into with this software is their inventory management feature, where you can plug in the types of products that you have, and then you can log in how much you have of that item in their database. And you're actually able to link Crafty Base to Shopify, Etsy, even Square, all of your sales platforms, so that when you make a sale through those platforms, it automatically updates the number in your inventory, so you're not manually updating your inventory all the time. It is amazing. I would love in a future video to show you exactly how that's done. There's a bit of a learning curve with this software, but now that I've had it for a few weeks, I can definitely say that my business is better for it. So thank you again, Crafty Base, for sponsoring this video. If you want to download the software and see what it's all about, you can do that. I have a link down in my description below. And honestly, I'd wish I had done this sooner. So the sooner you guys get this up and running and playing around with it, the better. These are something that I have to count today. All of these soaps that I made yesterday, I'm gonna cut them up and add them to my soap curing station, and then we can add these to the count. Although I'm still trying to figure out how to add curing soap to my inventory count from soap that's ready to sell, because obviously those are two different things. I'm still figuring out the kinks to that. And I have a Square version of the soap because we sell custom soap to a local resort. She loves buying this mini version, the guest size version of our Georgian-based soap. And if you want to see how I make wedding favors or small guest size soap, I'm gonna add a link to that video right up here. But this is why I make soap in this size, and then the soap that we sell through our website is in the tall and skinny. This is from Winston and Walter. They're super tall and skinny, but I think they just call it the 4-inch tall and skinny. But these three soaps are Grapefruit Sunrise, Honey Oat, and Coffee Cake. Won't be on our website still for quite some time because they still need to cure. If you notice here, I do have some cracking, and with my new soap recipe, I have found that my soap gets hotter, so I'm trying to figure out the best way to prevent that. But one of the things that I've started to do with this new soap recipe is to not put it in the oven anymore, because I've realized that because of these wooden molds, these insulate so much better, and the heat that's produced through soap making reaches the edges just fine. I don't need to worry about gel rings. So that's one thing I haven't been doing with my new recipe and these soap molds, is popping it into the oven. We're also adding to the inventory these Berry Bliss bath bombs that I just made, and Kayla's in the process of heat sealing them, and you can see that they are so adorable. I love our Berry Bliss bath bombs, and one thing that we had to do recently as well was to buy a new heat gun.
Got a new heat gun.
Yep, the
here.
The one that we got from National Shrink Wrap died on us after about 3 years. So.
Yeah, after a good 3 years.
Yeah.
It was, yeah, it was starting to just get really hot. I was holding it one time and like sparks started kind of coming out of the handles.
Oh gosh.
So, and then I ran up to the Home Depot and got a new one. So.
Yep. Yep, and another update is that we are now using the jumbo rolls of our National Shrink Wrap. This is the National Shrink Wrap system, in case people are wondering where I got this from, and that's linked down in my description below. But the film that we use is the biodegradable shrink wrap, and we normally would get these at about this big, this thick. But we spoke to the owner, Art, and he suggested, you guys buy so much of it, you guys might as well just do the super bulk size. And we're like, you know what? That makes a lot of sense. Let's do it.
Yeah, this is equivalent to almost 9 of the original regular rolls that we buy.
Yeah. So, and the cool thing about this is that even though it's much, much bigger, this still fits on the same system as the smaller rolls that we used to use. So it's all compatible. We didn't have to buy a new stand or anything. And yeah, we work with the, I think this is a 20-inch wand. 20-inch wand.
Yeah, 20-inch, because the roll is 18, so you want an extra little bit on each side.
Yep. So before I cut those soaps, now is a good time to show you what's in this box that I bought, because I don't know if you noticed in this video, but it's getting brighter and it's getting darker, and I would really like the light in the kitchen, which is super dark right now, to be consistent. So this is where this guy's gonna come in. I'm gonna unbox it for you guys right now. Dempsey is trying to help me the best as she can. I think she's only gonna be able to supervise me for this part. So what this is a light. It's a stand light that will light up my videos a lot better. And it came with a soft box around it so that it can diffuse the light a lot more evenly. And it came with this bag. And I'm guessing the light itself comes in this box, and this is the stand piece of it. So I'm going to assemble it real quick and show you guys what it looks like all together. So here it is. Ta-da! And you can see that it's really high up, so I can have the light come from above and light up whatever that I'm doing. And assembly was kind of tricky, to be honest with you. And for those wondering, it's a Godox light. That's all I know. And I'll have that link down below. But I bought this from Amazon, and yep, it's time, once you start to take your YouTube a little bit more seriously, to get some good lighting in there. And I definitely think this is going to be a good addition that will help improve my videos. Yeah, here it is, the Godox SL60W. So this is me in the kitchen with the light off, and it comes with a nice little remote control, so I can turn this on, and that's with it on. And I can control the brightness. This is me lowering it. Oh. And you can see how that makes just a huge difference in the lighting situation of my kitchen. You can see everything a lot more clearly, so that is a huge improvement. I'm really happy about that. It is a monster though. I will say that it takes up a lot of space. And this is why Kayla and I need more space in this house. Right, Demps? First up to be cut is our Georgian Bay soap. And if you recognize the mold that it's in, this is actually the mold that we originally started making YouTube videos in. And it creates a square shaped soap. And it's a great starter mold. I got mine actually from Condor Soap Supplies, but they don't sell the soap loaf mold anymore, like this exact one. So I'm not sure where you can get something like this. Maybe people in the comments can help me out where they got theirs. That's where I got mine. And this soap loaf mold didn't come with a silicone liner, so I have to line it myself using paper. And it comes apart from the soap super easily. It peels away really nicely. So I'll give this guy a cut and show you what the inside looks like.
it hard on my own? Why am I not like her? A bit more so. Why must the curtains come down? Why must the curtains come down? Softness now. In the end, wish to leave something special. Let him talk, as long as my name is on their lips. Call me mysterious. Why is it hard on my own? Why am I not like her? A bit more so. Why must the curtains come down? Why must the softness now? Why is it hard on my own? Why is it hard on my own? Why am I not like her? A bit more so. Why must the curtains come down? Why must the curtains come down? Softness now. In the end, I wish to be someone better. Help me with this comparison. Call me mysterious. Why am I not like her? Why is it hard on my own? Why am I not like her? A bit more so. Why must the curtains come down? Why must the softness now? Why am I not like her? Softness in the end. I wish to be something special. In the end, I wish to be so much better. In the end, I wish to be me.
Hey guys, I'm in a room that I haven't shown you guys, I think, in a long time, but I'm in my sunroom now. And I'm taking a quick break. I'm having a cider. This is a strawberry hibiscus cider, and it tastes really, really good. This is from Reinhardt's. And it's a little bit sour, but I like tart tasting beers. So I wanted to take this time quickly to talk to you about what happened to me on Thursday night. And on Thursday night, I got raw soap batter in my eye, and it was as terrible as it sounded. So to take you back to the beginning, let me tell you the whole story of how that actually happened. It was Thursday night, quarter to midnight. I was soaping and I had just added my lye to my oils, and I was using my stick blender to mix everything together. And I actually got to the point where the soap was actually emulsified now, and I was looking at it and it was actually seizing a little bit. So I was checking it out, swirling the soap batter with my stick blender, and my goggles that I was wearing started to fog up. And so to see better, I actually lifted it from my eyes and I was looking into the bucket, pumping the stick blender up and down, when it just flew up into my face. And I knew as soon as it hit me, the splash of soap batter, I knew as soon as it hit my eyeball that it was bad. And I started to scream. And Kale at that point in the night was already asleep. He was already in bed, and so I woke him up with my screams, and he rushed down to help me because I was at that point flushing my eyeball out with water. I have one of those detachable hoses. I was holding it up to my face, flushing out the soap from my eyeball, and it was hurting me so bad. It was just absolutely terrible. But at the same time, I was feeling a lot of panic about what had just happened, and I had Kale Googling what we should do, and there were actually quite a few experiences that you can find if you Google them of other soap makers that this happened to, and they all recommended that if this happens to you to flush it for at least 15 minutes, even longer, not less than that. And that's what we did. I was flushing it. And those stories also highly recommended that I go to the ER, and that is what I did. We luckily have a hospital about 2 minutes from our house, and so Kale drove me to the ER. So when I came to the hospital, I had to let them know what was going on, and a lot of them were really confused about what I had gotten into my eye. They were asking me, so you got soap in your eye? And I said, no, I have raw soap batter because I'm actually making the soap. And that idea was actually really foreign to the nurses checking me in. They had never heard of that before. But another thing that they asked me was whether or not that substance, that raw soap batter, was really alkaline or really basic. And in case you guys didn't know, raw soap batter is extremely alkaline. And they needed to know that in order to treat me properly for whatever was in my eye. After I told them what it was and they understood what was going on, they gave me these numbing drops on my eyeball. But it wasn't permanent. The pain still crept back after a period of time. So I had to continually put those drops into my eyes about every half hour. And I'm really glad that she gave me some of them to administer to myself while I waited for the doctor to see me, because in Canada, it takes a really, really long time for a doctor to actually get to you in the emergency room if your injury isn't life and death. And my eye injury, while it was really painful, wasn't exactly high on the list when it comes to prioritizing which patients to see first. So it took a really long time to see a doctor. I think it took about 3 hours to actually become face-to-face with a doctor and actually get treatment for the injury itself. And what the doctor did when he finally came was he dropped some yellow substance into my eye, and that let him see exactly where the damage was on my eye. And from that, he was able to see that there was damage to my eyeball from the soap batter hitting it. And even though I had flushed it out right away, there was still damage from that. So it was really good that I came to the ER to have it fully checked out. And he decided from there, because of what was in my eye, that my eyeball needed more flushing out. And how they do that at the hospital is that they have this really long tube, and at one end of it is a 1 liter bag full of saline solution, and that was held up by an IV, and on the other end is a contact lens that's made out of plastic. And what that lens does is sit on your eyeball and flushes that saline solution right onto your eyeball. And you sit there and you have it flushing out your eyeball for as long as it takes for that entire liter of saline solution to drain away. And for me, it took over an hour. So if you can imagine what that feels like to have a contact lens that doesn't fit your eyeball very well, it's very uncomfortable, flushing solution through it around your eyeball. It was incredibly uncomfortable, painful. I hated it. It was one of the worst things I ever gone through in my life, really. I've only been to the emergency room 2 other times in my past, and this was definitely the worst I've ever felt. And I wouldn't wish it on my worst enemy. It was horrible. And I had to carry a tray underneath me because the water was coming down my face from the contact lens that was spewing out the saline solution. So I had to catch the water while I was doing that. And my clothes got wet from it. I was so tired. This was in the middle of the night, from 2 a.m. right past 3 a.m. And after my eyeball was done, after the bag of saline solution had finished, they took pH strips, and this is the pH strips that you would probably have seen before, where it touches something and it gives you a reading of that pH based on the color of what that strip turns into. So they actually applied these thin strips to my actual eyeball to see what the pH was of my eyeball, because the pH of a healthy eyeball is between 7 to 7.3, I think. And that is what they want your eyeball to read before they let you leave the ER. And thankfully, when I got there, it was normal after my eyeball got flushed out with the saline solution. So I felt super relieved that I didn't have to go through that again, because if it was reading alkaline still, they would have to continue doing it until they got my pH down for my eyeball to the right pH level. So when they discharged me with some medication for the pain, and they told me that I was going to see the ophthalmologist the next day in another emergency room hospital in Orillia, which is a town about 40 minutes away. So I was fine with that, and I was mostly just glad that I didn't have to get my eyeball flushed again. So I was ready to leave the hospital and get some sleep before my ophthalmologist appointment the next day. And so when it was the next day, I got a call really early in the morning, and it was from the emergency room doctor that had seen me. And he had heard back from the ophthalmologist, and after hearing what was in my eye, the ophthalmologist recommended that they actually flush my eye again even further, just to make sure that everything was out of my eyeball. And so I went back to the ER in my town and did that whole incredibly unpleasant experience of having my eyeball flushed with saline solution again. Another full liter bag of saline solution in my eyeball. It was just as unpleasant the next day as it was the night before. But maybe not as unpleasant because I knew it was coming, I knew what to expect. But the worst thing was, after that was done, I was really glad that I would never have to experience that again. But when they read the pH on my eyeball using those strips, again, the pH on my eyeball was not falling in the correct pH range that it should be. So I had to get my eyeball flushed a third time, and I think the third time was the worst because I was super exhausted at that point, and the doctor can control just how strong the flow of the saline solution is. And because I was just so done with it and I wanted to leave and get my eyeball flushed as soon as possible, I let him turn it up a little bit faster so that the bag would drain faster. But the pressure coming through the contacts lens onto my eyeball was a lot more, so much so that I almost felt like fainting. But I was gritting my teeth and just doing it because I wanted to get out of there as soon as possible. I was so tired. And so by the end of it, after the third flushing, the ER in my town finally released me, and I was able to go home and have some lunch before my ophthalmologist appointment in Orillia. And when I got to Orillia and I saw the doctor there, it took a little bit of waiting, but when he saw me, I got the really great news after he checked my eyeball out that the damage is actually really minimal. And when he had heard that it was lye, that really scared him, and that's why he recommended the other flushing, because he wanted to really make sure that it was out of my eyeball. But when he examined my eye, he was very pleased to see that any damage that the raw soap batter had done to my eye was going to heal completely in a couple of days. The way that he described my injury was a chemical burn, and the skin that is on my eyeball, it's usually about 10 layers deep. The soap batter had stripped that down to 1, and the injury that caused is going to take some time to heal. And the medication that he prescribed me was an antibiotic to stave off infection and a steroid to help those layers regenerate faster. And he told me that even though your eyeball will physically heal within the week and you'll probably feel okay in the next couple of days, the eyeball itself will probably be sensitive to light, to wind, to water that hits it for a month. And but overall, he said that I was a very lucky person for what the substance was and the damage that it ended up doing to my eye. And I totally believe him. And that is why eye safety is so important, and I talk about it so much in this channel because it's so important, and I wouldn't want any one of you to go through what I went through. And the thing is, it just happened so fast, and literally in a blink of an eye, I had my goggles on 1 second and I didn't have them the next, and that was the moment that it happened. So please be cautious anytime you make that decision to either not wear goggles or to remove them from your face, to be super, super careful, because I know that every soap maker that is watching this right now, there's always going to be time where your face itches or you let your guard down, or for whatever reason those goggles aren't always on your face, but this video is to say that no matter how seasoned you are, no matter how much experience you have, there's always a chance that if those goggles aren't on your eyes, that soap batter might get into them. So please keep them on as much as you can. I know for me moving forward, I definitely will have them on all the time. No more being lazy about it. They have to go on. And I would also recommend on that note to get the type of goggles that actually cover your skin and create a barrier that prevents light coming from other angles from getting in, because that can also happen too. And that's the type of goggles that I have. I got them pretty cheaply from Uline, and after that incident happened, I got right back on the horse once my eye felt better, and I made these 4 batches of soap. And when I announced to everybody that I wasn't going to be posting my regular Friday video, the amount of support and messages that I got were so overwhelming and so sweet. So thank you guys so much for understanding, and your kind, sweet messages really helped the healing process. And yeah, as someone who has an audience and a whole channel around soap making, it is humbling to have that happen to me, but it's also a good thing too, because I have this platform to talk to you guys about it and to show that this can happen to anybody. So I'm really glad that that is behind me now that it is Monday. I have to get right back into it, and my eyeball is definitely feeling back to normal. I don't feel that sensitivity that the doctor told me I would be feeling for a month. It actually feels perfectly okay, and it's a good thing too, because I'm already behind on things, and I'm really glad to get back into all the duties that my business needs me to do, one of them being inventory. And I want to show you guys really quick what that looks like, because my process has changed ever since I started using Crafty Base, and let me tell you, that software has improved my business so much. So let me show you quickly what I mean. I'll show you like a little bit of the process, the Excel spreadsheet that I'm using, that I got from the Crafty Base software. I'll show you that right now. So here are a list of all of my soaps, and it actually pulled this from my Shopify website, which is awesome because this is all the stuff that we currently sell on that website. And it also pulled the pictures that I posted from Shopify into the Crafty Base software. And so to do inventory, all I have to do is to export this information, which has the SKUs, the name of the item, into a spreadsheet. And here's what the spreadsheet looks like. I can update everything here at once using this drop-down menu up here where it has bulk update products. It's really so fast and super easy once you get the hang of it. And if you want to check out Crafty Base, I have the link listed down below. So with that being said, I think I'm going to end it over here. There is a lot in this video that I think is going to stretch this video out super long. And I do want to take this time to thank my patrons. You guys are absolutely amazing, especially these guys over here, my Bubble BFFs. These guys are amazing owners themselves, and if you want to check out their businesses, I have a few of them linked in my description box below. And if you want to check out my recipes, not all of my recipes, but some of them, I do have them listed at my Patreon, and that is linked down in my description below. And thank you to everybody who has supported me on there. You guys are absolutely amazing. Thank you to Crafty Base for sponsoring this video. Their software is amazing. Again, they are linked down below if you want to check them out. And thank you to everybody who took the time to send me a sweet message about my eye and wish me fast and good healing. You guys are so sweet. Thank you so much. And until the next video, keep smiling, keep being awesome, and keep making beautiful, wonderful things. And do not get soap batter into your eye like me. Be safe. And I will see you in the next one. Bye, guys.